Hey everybody, Eric with Solobox. Today I'm going to do a shop project while I wait for, I've got I think 9 sets of boxes over at powder coating right now. And so while I'm waiting on that stuff to run through the powder coater, oh look, there's Mr. Westinghouse. While I wait on that stuff to come back from powder coating, I'm going to take care of a few different shop projects. I replaced the pocket jigs today because they weren't quite as accurate as they needed to be, so I built 2 new ones of those. These are really important for layout, and so that stuff is fixed. That's how I scribe some of these lines and get them absolutely 100% parallel and perfect. So I replaced those, and now I'm going to get into this. So what I'm going to hope to do here is pick up Marshawn. Yes, he's named after Mr. Lynch, number 24. Go Hawks. I'm going to pick this up and put wheels on it. I got these wheels at Harbor Freight. I'm hoping that that's going to work out well. These were rated for, I think, 225 pounds a piece, and Marshawn weighs in at a hefty 743. So I'm thinking that I ought to be able to do it, but this stuff, it does not look very thick. So I got 2 casters that swivel, 2 that are just the normal straight. So I'm thinking that I'll probably put the 2 swivel ones at the front of the shear and the 2 non-swivel ones at the back. I bought some angle iron to attach the wheels to, and what I'm going to do basically is the angle iron is going to go along the side here, get bolted straight to the side of the shear here with the wheels underneath. One reason that I want to do this, not only would I like to be able to park it out of the way when it's not in use, but I would also like to get my working height up a bit. I think I'm going to gain, let's see, let's check. How many inches? I'm going to gain about 6 inches of working height, which will really be a lot nicer, I'm hoping. I hope it's not rickety and rocking around and stuff too, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Harbor Freight, yeah, actually the swivel ones look like they're stronger than the other ones. I kind of wish they had a wheel lock on them too. We'll see how this goes, so I'm going to try it out. I'm going to go outside and grab the crane and bring it in here so that I'll be able to pick this up, and we'll see what we end up with today. Alright, so I went and grabbed the crane, and my intuition was screaming at me, don't trust the specs on those Harbor Freight wheels. Even though, I think it said they were rated to 220, and they should work. I don't want to get something put on there and have it buckle on me, so I went ahead and ran to Home Depot and got these bad boys. These are rated to 330, and I went ahead and switched my game plan to going with 4 swivels, and these are nice because they actually have brakes on them too. I don't want the tool moving around as I'm working with it, so we'll see how these do. And I was just checking out the working height. Getting this up another 6 inches is going to be nice because whenever I'm laying stuff out, I won't have to hunch over at all. So I started looking at what I want to do with the angle iron. This isn't very wide, especially if you're going to bring it up another 6 inches. So I'm going to go a little bit wider, give myself a little bit better footprint with those wheels. If you actually push on this machine back and forth, it gets a little bit tippy. So I'm going to go at 26 inches for the angle iron and move the wheels out to the corners a little bit just to give myself a little bit more stability. So I'm going to go ahead and make those first couple of cuts. All right, so I got the sides cut out at 26 inches. My game plan was actually to use some of this M8 hardware. I've got a bunch of it, and I was gonna bolt the wheels onto the angle iron, but if you really look, I'm getting kind of close here to this edge in terms of, if I put that on there, I'm probably gonna run into it. And then I started thinking, you know, why lay that out and drill all those holes and put the bolts through when I could just weld it right on there? It's not like it's ever gonna need to come off. I forget what these welds are called, where you weld through the center of the hole, but they're actually kind of a cool weld to know. Actually, that's part of how these are built, actually. But I'm gonna weld those on there. Yes, son? You want a vitamin? Okay, hold tight, please. So anyway, I think I'm just gonna weld these wheels onto here. This metal, this cast stuff, I'm assuming is probably gonna be pretty easy to drill. The only thing I really need to be sure of is to avoid these X's. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll drill the holes in the angle iron first. I'll figure out where it needs to go. I'll drill it in there, and then I'm probably gonna just clamp it onto the side of here and drill through those holes into this. Once it goes all the way through, I'll know exactly how that's gonna be. And then I'll put the wheels on, and then I'll lift it up and install the entire thing. So here we go. All right, so I've done my layout on this. I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 holes on each side. I'm gonna be using this M8 hardened hardware to hold those in place. I would really kind of like to be able to maybe fudge this and get away with only having to drill 2 holes all the way through that casting over there, but I think 3 is gonna be better, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it that way. Good, punch a couple of holes here. We'll do some pilot holes. Pilot holes drilled. Now we'll bump up to 5/16.
Excuse me, Dad.
Yes, son. How can I help?
I want to find something. Oh.
You need what?
I spent my daddy over here in the camera.
Yeah, I'm running the camera. Do you actually need something? I'm kind of busy.
I see you, Daddy.
Okay. Shoot a YouTube video.
Oh, I see you, Daddy.
All right, so we got our holes drilled. All right, so I've got the angle iron clamped where it needs to be. I've got my pre-holes all set up, so I know exactly where I'm going to need to drill. Kind of wish I had a drill with a cord on it. This is about the best I'm going to be able to do is this 18-volt one. Most of what I do in the shop, I'm using the 12-volt smaller ones. I like them because they're lightweight, but we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the shear up and slide this 4x4 underneath here so that I can get a better angle on drilling these 3 holes. So. You definitely don't want this falling on you. Safety first. Alright, before I try to drill any of these 3 all the way through, I'm going to try to pre-drill each one a little bit, just in case this plate moves. That way I've got a reference point, so they end up exactly where they need to be. Looks like the cast iron might be kind of soft. Take a little work to get these through. Well, there went the first battery. That obviously wasn't all the way charged. Alright, so I just finished drilling these 3 holes. It literally took me less than 2 minutes to do it, so it really wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it could have been. So, let's see what comes next. Now I'm going to take this off. I'm going to go ahead and weld the wheels into place. Alright, so I got the first wheel all set up in place. I can't remember what these kind of welds are called, but what I'm going to do is weld through the center of this hole. I'll do some tack welds around the outside too, just to make it a little more sturdy. I've got the welder, the heat cranked way up and the wire speed really slow, so that I should get pretty good penetration on this. I don't think the wheels are going to be going anywhere, so anyway, I'll make a couple welds here. Tell you what, if that doesn't fix it, I always think it should have. A little bit concerned about this being able to flex with that much load sitting on it. So I went ahead and whipped up some of these little gussets. I'm just going to put one on each wheel just to kind of help keep that from flexing. Alright, so the first side is done. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up and take the 4x4 out from underneath of this, set it back down, and slide the shear around so I can do the other end. I'm tempted to put one side on and then go and work on that side, but I have a feeling that any lateral stress on these wheels, I think that the stress is really meant to be coming straight down, and if I put any angle stress to it, they'll probably buckle, so I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do instead is go ahead and get both sides built, and then I'll pick the entire shear up into the air, bolt both sides on, and set it onto all four wheels at the same time. Alright, both sets of wheels are complete and ready to be bolted on. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up now. You know, I named this tool Marshawn for a good reason. It's because everything this tool does, it does by brute force, just like Mr. Lynch. Does that look safe to you guys? I guess it's alright. I gotta get it high enough up to be able to bolt everything onto it. Anytime you're working with this kind of weight, things can be a little sketchy, so I'm definitely going to be really careful to make sure that everything I do, that I'm not underneath any part of this that could hurt me. It's kind of looking like I may not even have enough room here because of these legs to get this one on. That's an issue. If I can turn it sideways. If I do that, then I'm unable to set it down because the legs will be in the way. Might need to bolt one end on and set that end on a block. And then swap it around. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to set it down without the legs being underneath of it. If the legs are underneath of it, I'm going to run into problems. Doesn't appear to be lining up exactly as it should. As to why, I don't know. It's close, but it's not quite right. we go. I'm going to go ahead and just finish this up, and then when I'm ready to set it down, I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so this may not be pretty, but I'm going to attempt to set it down. I've got both sides on. Ran into one little tiny clearance issue. One of the bolts was a little bit too long. It was running into something else underneath the shear itself, but luckily I had a bolt that was the correct length, and really wasn't a big deal. Yeah, I can go nearly as badly as I thought it was going to. It used to be that when it sat straight up on the floor, the problem with using this crane with this is that these legs would get pinned underneath of this bar because the bar sat too low to the ground. But it looks like it actually, because the shear is 6 inches taller now, it actually clears it. So that's just a bonus right there, is that whenever I've got to move this tool, it'll become even easier to do. So anyway, it looks like it's holding all the weight. Man, it's way up in the air. It looks so much different. You know, I started this business working in a shop that had a single light bulb in the center of the room and a dirt floor. And so, yeah, I didn't need wheels back in the day. So anyway, I'm going to try to get this back to where it belongs, and we'll take another look in a minute. Oh man, this is great. I think I'm gonna like this working height. It looks weird just because I'm so used to seeing this sit so much lower, but I've been wheeling it around. It works great. And when the brakes are set, it's really pretty firm. And you can undo the brakes just like that and move this wherever you want it. So I'm really thrilled with how that came out. I was really kind of wondering if it wasn't just going to be a complete waste of money and time. A lot of times I have ideas that I think are good, and it turns out that, well, maybe not so much. So anyway, this worked out well, and so I'm going to go ahead and put everything away and move on to another project. Talk to you guys later. Eric's Solo Box.